It's crazy. One of the requirements is that you have to believe in a God. They don't care which God it is, though.
Super Plus.
Well, boys, I found the answer to a mystery that parents nationwide have been trying to find out what their kids mean. I think we discussed it a little bit one time, but oh no, we were talking about it during Sukkot, the whole 6-7 thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we brought it up at least 6-7 times.
At
Yeah.
least.
Mm.
Well, for the parents out there who have their children running around their house saying 6-7 and laughing all the time, yeah, you might want to know what it means. So apparently, it is code. Now, how they have kept it a secret for so long is beyond me. Like you couldn't even do a search online and get it to give you a legitimate answer. You know what I mean? But apparently, 6-7 is the number that gives representation to a specific element on the periodic table. That element is Holumum, Holmium. I don't know what that is. It's a silvery colored lathanide metal known for having the highest magnetic strength of any element and is used in lasers for surgery and in magnets. Nothing funny about that, right?
Not yet. Not yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, on the periodic table, we have elements that are represented by a number
And some letters.
and some letters.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's letters are HO. So kids have been running around calling adults, their parents, all this the whole time they're talking to them. They're calling them hoes.
For Santa Claus
Sure, we'll go with that.
or the little Debbie snacks.
So now you know,
Yeah,
like,
no
dude,
one's half the battle.
right? So two things that blows my mind. One, how did it take this long for us to figure it out? Number one. Number two, why did we not think of this when we were growing up?
All right, I'll answer the first one. You know why? I'll answer it personally for myself because I can care less.
Yeah.
I mean, I can care less. I mean, I think it's still dumb, and regardless, and yeah, I'm just older and I don't care.
Oh. Well, see, I think what it is back in the day, you had to sit in class and pretend to be interested for 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes, depending on your schedule before the little bell went off.
Right,
And you're
right.
looking through this chart and you're like, what in here could be funny or just be something that I don't have to listen to this teacher, trying to figure out how to add the numbers across the different shapes. And clearly, I don't remember any chemistry either. But yeah, I can see that being kind of funny. Just like how they did uh, aluminum or titanium oxide or whatever, whichever the one is where it's like spelled BA and then AL is the recipe for it. So Baal, the god from the Bible, or the false god from the Bible, and so they use the periodic table to get the BA and then the AL as like the aluminum that they could be using.
Barium and aluminum. Is that what it is?
Something like that. But yeah, it's the stuff that they may be found in the sky.
Yeah, and the little streaks. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and
And
strontium too.
right.
I don't know how that plays into the periodic table.
Well, it
for
just sounds
letter.
fun. Sounds like
Yeah.
a superpower or something.
Yeah.
By the power of strontium.
But yeah, dude, that's crazy how all that stuff's connected.
Yeah, I would have never put that together. I was thinking anything else.
Well,
Bedtime for maybe children, around 6-7.
this is our 33rd episode, so I think it'd be kind of cool if maybe we discuss some of those things, the whole number 33 and some of the crazy conspiracy stuff and
Whatever are you talking about, Kyle?
societies out there that do things like
Do tell.
like the streaks in the sky kind of thing. So Anyway, I was looking at the number 33 and how the occult, kind of uses that in a lot of different things. And I saw something that was pretty neat. So the number 33 was or water was being used as a comparison, or a similarity or whatever to 33. So everything below 33 degrees is frozen. It's basically stationary. It doesn't move. But it can float. It can move by liquid water, can make it move somewhere. So it's influenced by the liquid. Everything 33 degrees and higher, water is liquid, and it can move and flow basically where it wants to, kind of thing. Right. So there's this freedom that's given. So I thought that was a really interesting connection that someone had made on that. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. Have y'all got any cool theories or stories or anything like that when it comes to the Masons or any of that stuff?
Well, I've never heard of anything that had to do with 33, so no, I'm just kidding. So, we were talking about the periodic table, and so if you guys remember, this is a callback to a previous episode. Pastor Joe gave us some cool science on what happens when you burn something. It turns to arsenic. So the arsenic on the periodic table is the number 33. So that is the callback and a half, and it wasn't arsenic. What was the word it was? Do you guys remember? When something's burned,
Oh no, it was
that's right.
Starts with a C.
Yeah, carcinogenic.
Carcinogenic, yeah. So we were looking for the word carcinogenic.
All over it.
Arsenic came out. I don't think that's what we were going for, but arsenic is the 33rd element on the table. So that's just very interesting, and try to put those together. Okay, so yeah, I heard about it. I've never tried it myself. So have you guys heard about Disney World or Disneyland? One of them, the club that they have there, the very exclusive club that you can't get into unless you have like a whole bunch of money, and it's very exclusive.
Club 33.
The name of the club is Club 33. Now, this is a theme park for children. You could have named it.
I don't know much about it.
No. So, there's not a lot really that they're going to, what are they going to put out there? You know what I mean?
Right.
But supposedly it's just a special place for grown adults to go and, have some time away from the children and, get a little bit of a rubbing shoulders with some of the who's who in these areas. But there's a very other side of that, attachment to that story that people have dug into, and obviously you're not allowed to know the answers, so there's no good answers. You can dig and dig all you want, but they just showed the irony of like the cost to buy these memberships are like astronomical. There's only like a certain amount of people that can be in there at one time. That you can't get access to it by any conventional like you'll never be just walking down the street and it's a small world after all, and then just find it. It's like you have to know and then be there and then maybe. So yeah, that was one of the 33s that I came across recently. I was like, that's an interesting choice. Could have called it Club Mickey Mouse, and that would have sounded normal. Right. 33? It's pretty on the nose.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, Walt Disney himself was if I'm not mistaken, he was a 33rd degree Mason.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you put the pieces together.
Thomas Edison, a ton, if not all, of the presidents. Right. Who else? Like a lot of most everybody who's ever been influential in a big way.
Is that what we're staying small for now?
Yeah. See, if we just
let me say this. With that brotherhood does come financial gain.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and I'm not talking about just on the large scale. I'm talking about on the small scale as well. I had a fellow approach me many years ago, probably over 10 years ago at least, or close to 10 years ago, and he was wanting me to become a member of the lodge in the city that I used to live in. And I was like, at first he thought I was one of the lodge members. I was like, nope, not a lodge member. So then he kind of started pursuing me, wanted me to become a lodge member. And what I realized back then was a lot of the men who are very influential with business are all lodge members of the
Mhm.
Freemasons. And I was like, so to become a part of that brotherhood almost secured you, or
Hmm.
actually pretty much secured you financial gain
Oh yeah.
because they look out for one another. They do, they business wise. And I immediately, I already knew at that point, hey, this ain't
Yeah.
happening. So I quietly parted ways with this gentleman and never spoke to him again.
Too funny.
And it was just it was a really weird experience too, because when it's like I could see a spiritualness or sense a spiritualness behind the motives behind this, and I was like, thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
Now, are you sure they didn't get you confused? They said a lodge member, not a large member. Sure, there was no
Oh
confusion.
yeah, yeah. They said we need to meet our quota, and you look like you could fill it.
No,
Dude,
so
So
if they did just come to Joe and be like, dude, we got an amazing gym in the back, you know what I mean? Let's
creatine's on the
go.
house.
yeah,
Yeah.
As soon as you walk in the door,
yeah.
you're the
Jonathan,
LeBron
have you
James.
ever been approached about any of that stuff?
No, I was not anywhere near those activities. I think I was overseas too long during those
Yeah.
years, and then I stayed pretty clear of any silliness. So I have that don't approach phase.
I, I I was the first time I was approached about it when I was probably 12 or 13, somewhere around in that age. Um, but some guys that I knew, they asked me about joining DMLA, and I had no clue what it was. But I found out later. Obviously, it's basically the kids' version of Freemasonry.
Oh, that's great.
Um,
Hmm.
so this is most people don't know this, but it's not just men, it's not just white men. There's groups for every age, every ethnicity, and
Yep.
it's crazy. It's crazy. One of the requirements is that you have to believe in a God. They don't care which God it is, though.
Right. A
You
higher
know,
power, basically. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah,
A higher power. That's what it is. That's right.
yeah.
Um, and it's nuts.
It,
And as an adult, I can't tell you. I really don't remember how many times, but I've been asked more than 5 times.
mm,
And one time was just the weirdest thing. It was you ever had somebody approach you and like try to talk you into you can kind of sense where they're going before they finally spit out what they're doing. They're trying to talk you into joining some kind of multi-level marketing something or other.
Yeah.
This
Multiple
dude had
times.
this dude had that kind of vibe, and then finally spit it out like he was trying to get me to come participate and I'm like in the a meeting and see what I thought. And I'm like, no, 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 thanks, but
Yeah.
no thanks. And that was while I was working. Like I come in there pretending to be a customer. He wasn't interested in nothing. He was like literally going out and recruiting like multi-level marketing people do. And that's not a thing that they're supposed to do.
right.
Like, they're looking for certain types of character and, qualities and things like that. And this dude just, it sounded like an Amway presentation to me, is what it sounded like. It was nuts. But anyway,
Well,
No.
the whole thing about that is that the Freemasons, whatever, what's the other one called? The one, the Shriners,
Hmm.
hmm
this a lot, and it can also be called the Scottish Rite. It could be, it can even follow into Jesuit,
Knights
all that
Templar.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knights Templar, all that stuff. It's the same
they're connected.
package, just a different name. It's all connected.
Well, you can't
I've
get
taught
into Scottish Rite until you've gone through at least certain levels of masonry of the basic
right.
law.
The Scottish Rite is technically, if I understood correctly, is the ascension into the 33-degree part of it. But most
That's my
people will
understanding.
never get to that part. Most people won't get to that part. And so they kind of stay in a place of, oh, this is God, this is Christian. I've heard some people say, oh no, it's a Christian organization,
Mhm.
and
They
all
do
this
so much
stuff.
good for kids and children's hospitals
Well,
and all.
especially the Shriners. The Shriners are really big with burn victims, like children who are burned or injured or handicapped, or
Scottish Rite
they
does a lot for blind and deaf children.
yes. So they do a lot of good things, right, Jonathan? Wink,
Yeah.
wink. That's a conversation me and you had about something else a long time ago. But anyway, the thing about it is, though, this is where I've talked about in some of my sermons, is that this is witchcraft 101. This
Mhm.
is in your church. You have elders and deacons, pastors, regular lay members of the congregation that are part of this organization, and the
Yep.
majority of them are blind to the fact that you are part of something that deals in Kabbalah, alchemy, just
Sorcery,
the
witchcraft, you name it.
that whole principle. There's a principle, as above, as below.
Mhm.
It echoes in that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the sad part is it's literally in your face, but because you put a stamp on it and say, oh, well, see, this is all about God and it's all about this. And it's not till you get to that 33-degree part of it that I've heard multiple testimonies of men who've been through that and said, one of the first things they'll make you do is you have to deny God.
Mm.
And that light bearer that they're pushing throughout the whole thing, it's
Is
not
Lucifer.
Jesus Christ. It isn't Yeshua or Yahusha.
Mhm.
It's a different light bearer that you get, privy
Yep.
to when you join the official club.
Right.
But other than that, everyone else thinks it's the greatest thing and just does all this good. But all along, you have allowed witchcraft, especially if you're a pastor, elder, deacon, you are allowing witchcraft to be a part of the body.
I don't know if y'all have seen the interview. There's a guy that's interviewing an older man in front of a lodge or whatever, and he admits plainly that Lucifer is his god, is their god, um, and it's their belief that Lucifer is the good guy. He's the one that set us free,
Mhm.
free Masons. He's the one that set us free because God was trying to hold us captive in this bubble of not being able to do what we want freely and whatever. And because of the light bearer, because of Lucifer, he set us free. That's some, that's some,
Yeah, I know.
Just a
Yeah.
little twisting of the story. I don't see the problem.
Yeah,
Now,
no big deal.
y'all know that they hold Solomon in very high regard,
Mhm.
Yes.
right? And okay, well, I think I have an idea as to why. So in the occult, it is taught, and there's even a book out there, and I forget the name of it, but there's an occult book that teaches that Solomon had these magical powers,
Mhm.
and that he had the ability, like he would conversate with demons. He had a ring, right, and he would have conversations with demons, and they would go back and forth with like these riddles. And as long as he would get the riddles right, he would get all this stuff, and they'd have to serve him as slaves and all this other kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, well, I got to thinking about it. Oh, and the belief is that Solomon having demons as slaves, that he made the demon slaves build the temple, among other things, right? And then there's this idea of them, you know, getting one over on him and that sort of thing. And now they are free Masons. They were the builders. Now they're free. They are free Masons. That's where my head goes with it, and that's where they get that name from. Is what I kind of think.
Mhm.
But I don't know, man. It's wild. Um, there are I did pull these out because I was thinking that we would go down this route. There are two books that I recommend if anybody is curious about any of this stuff, and I don't mean curious in the sense of, hey, you want to learn how to participate in it. It's learning some of the stuff that Scripture tells us, my people perish for lack of knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that we need to learn the ways so that we can do them, but there's a lot of things that we don't see in our day-to-day lives that is used to manipulate us into doing their bidding. And there are two books, or to make us, or to talk us into doing things we shouldn't be doing in the first place, like swearing oaths unto death and all this other stuff, right? So I'm going to recommend these two books. One is Occult ABC, Exposing Occult Practices and Ideologies. What You Don't Know Can Hurt You. That's by Kurt E. Koch, Koch. Kurt E. Koch, Koch. Anyway, that's a good one. And the other one, this is one that I read that really taught me a lot of stuff about like the fraternities in colleges, the Greeks and all that stuff. You don't really think about that being something intertwined and all that, but it absolutely is. And all of these fraternities and sororities and all that, you swear oaths when
Yep.
you're joining these things, right? And they are right in line with the same type of oaths that are taken when you join a Mason lodge or any of that kind of stuff. But this book right here, and this talks about this is in reference to one of the female parts of Masonry, and that is it's about the Eastern Star, which is the female version of it. It's Hidden Secrets of the Eastern Star, The Masonic Connection by Dr. Kathy Burns.
Oh, looks great.
That is a good book. Good book. So both of those, man, you'll learn more than you ever wanted to know about occult practices from those two. But this is just, dipping your toe in the ocean here. So anyway, thought I'd share that. But
Yeah,
good
there you
stuff.
go. Well, if you want to go down a weird / fun / what we're going to do afterward conspiracy about the number 33.
Oh,
Let me grab this book. I'm just kidding. I don't have any books. But the number 33 shows up in one really vital place, and we all just use it all the time, and it's common knowledge, common thought process now, and that is the death of Jesus Yeshua. So the story goes that he died at 33 years old. Now, I'm not saying I'm here to question it or to change the story or to say the Bible is right, wrong, and different. I'm saying this is the number that we've been given. Yet, when you start to dig and do some research, they're like, yeah, maybe somewhere in the 30s, 34, all the way to 40, maybe less, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of speculation out there on when and why, and when did the AD start and the BC, and now it's changed to Common Era and yada yada yada. And he was born in 3 BC, even though it was supposed to be 0, and fill in the blank of all the fun silliness that was going on around that time. And so somebody, did this whole article of like, what if the only reason that 33 is a number we know as his age was just so they can throw it in our face from the Bible from way back when. And that's a tough conversation because I was like, wait a second, hold on. Well, I'm not saying it's not 33. It very much could be, but then there's other options. And then they're like, why did they stick with that one? What do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, we know he wasn't born in year 0, right? The most popularly held belief is that he was crucified in 33 AD. I'm not saying one way or the other whether that's accurate, and I'm just saying that's the most commonly held belief is that he was crucified in 33 AD.
33 AD. Oh, there's another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So according to things, I think we talked about this before, maybe a long time ago, but Rob Skiba he was the first person I ever saw use stellarium to kind of spin things in the other direction and then use the signs in the heaven at the time of Messiah's birth. And the calculations that came up with then was September 11th, 3 BC.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was the case, He was already, it was already 3 years into it. So what? I'm trying to make sure I did the math right here.
36.
So we're saying, did he die in 30 or 33 AD?
30. The most popular three options that I'm aware of is 28, 30, and 33, with 30 and 33 being the two most popular.
Mhm.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if he died in 33 AD, but he wasn't born to 3 AD, right?
BC.
BC.
Or was it BC or AD?
BC.
BC. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 BC.
So that'd be 36 or 35 and a half or something.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That still kind of confuses me a little bit anyway, because we're talking about this is before Christ, but that's when he was born.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why they had to change it to Common Era and BCE before the Common Era, because they were like, we know that the numbers aren't right. We were just putting some stuff in there.
Right.
So 36, 7, somewhere in there.
It never made sense to me to call it before Christ and after death anyway, right?
It wasn't
Like,
after death. It was like,
oh no, a lot of people called it Anno Domini or whatever,
Yeah.
something like that. But a lot of people call that after death.
oh yeah, yeah.
Which at least for 28 years of that, he wasn't deceased. You know what I'm saying? He hadn't
Yeah.
gone to the cross at that point. So anyway,
Yeah, that was always a hard one, because I remember when I first heard that, it was probably 10 years ago, and someone's like, it doesn't have to be 33. I was like, yeah, it does. I mean, that's the answer. And they're like, there's more things to think about. I was like, oh man, don't tell me that, because then it kind of makes you want to start questioning everything. But then at the end of the day, like, what's the harm in questioning stuff if you're going into it with the right mentality? I think
Right.
oftentimes people go into stuff just questioning for the sake of being belligerent and ridiculous. And the Bible even warns about that, about endless quarrels and endless debates and stuff like that. Like, they don't just argue for the sake of arguing. But if you've got valid points, or you actually can find some wisdom, keep digging, keep searching, because there's some stuff in there. And I think that was where I ended up landing. Was for a long time I was like, well, don't rock the boat, just kind of go along to get along. Well, your pastor said that's what he said. That's got to be true.
That's
And you're
right.
like,
Don't forget that.
oh, well, let me look at you real quick.
Well, I don't know what the highest point is in all that occult stuff, but I know that there's ties to all kind of different fraternities out there for sure. And then you hear about these other groups like the oh goodness gracious, you hear about the Illuminati, you hear about the
Right. Skull
Girl
and Bones.
Scouts. You know what? I
Hey,
wouldn't
you
doubt it.
never know,
I wouldn't
man.
doubt it at this point. I really wouldn't. Have you seen what's in them cookies?
It's
Good
got to be
gracious.
something. Hey, you know what? They
Well,
carry them
whatever's
around
in
in a
the
wagon, and they
whatever's
don't
in the
melt.
Thin Mint, yeah,
Right.
whatever's in the Thin Mint's got me hooked. So I'm gonna tell you what.
Bro,
33 herbs and spices.
we got supposedly, going up the pyramid, if you will, the groups get smaller and smaller. The groups that go out to Bohemian Grove, we got all these different. What's the, not League of Nations? What's the what's some of those groups that
Well,
basically run everything?
Well, you got the all the families.
the Rothschilds and people like that, but
Well, you
I
got
was gonna
family
say
lines got into that too. Yes.
right.
The
I was gonna say
Orsinis.
earlier, Kyle, the most famous one out of Yale is Skull and Bones.
Mhm.
So I mean that was the one that I remember Bush was questioned about, and who was the other guy? Oh, I can't remember his name.
Oh, Kerry.
Yeah,
John Kerry.
they shut it up quick, man. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, unfortunately, that guy who interviewed them, yeah,
He knew what he was doing. Did something happen to him?
oh
I
yeah,
wouldn't
like
doubt
right
it.
after that, he was
Really?
he was gone.
Forgot how to swim in the ocean.
Yeah,
Wow.
it wasn't that long
Cramp
after both of those interviews that he had a mysterious heart attack and died.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hate when that happens.
You can only push it so much, and they're like, yeah, you become a pain. So, yep.
Well, I'm not going to dig too far into this one, but I will say that with everything that I've looked into, it seems like everything goes back to Kabbalism and uh, the gods that were worshipped in the Bible that God said don't associate with them, right? Those types of things, the balls and all that.
Mm.
Yeah. So
You talk about Kabbalism, you talk about people that work on shoes?
yeah, I don't know. No, I
The
think those are
cobbler.
cobblers. Yeah.
Kabbalism.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I was putting two and two. One foot in front of the other.
Got the might as well throw the Keebler elves in there as well.
Ah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't doubt
right.
they're in on it.
Right.
They're little magic cookies.
So they hide in trees.
So anyway, cool
Well,
stuff, man.
you were talking about digging. So a show that came out recently, and I actually watched it because I was interested in the plot of the show. But what made me click on it was called The 33. It's a movie, so not a show, but close enough. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice just to have that giant on the the poster of the movie. You could have put anything. What's this about? Well, do you guys remember that cave in? I think it was in like somewhere in South America. I don't remember, Argentina or somewhere down there, where those guys got trapped in a cave and they were down there for like a bunch of days until they could rescue
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah. So supposedly, I mean, the movie was pretty interesting. It was like more of like a true story in fiction, if that makes sense. But these guys get trapped underground.
Was it
They're stuck.
33 men or were they down there 33
Yes,
days?
I think it was
or
33
so?
men.
Okay.
So the story is about the 33 guys.
Okay.
But I was just like, it just makes you wonder. Because, I mean, there had to have been more people that were down there because a bunch of people died. You know what I mean? So then, like, they're like, but the 33 guys that we rescued. And it that number, like I said, it's crazy how it keeps coming up and stuff. Like, I mean, the whole movie's called The 33. And then recently, like, something with Charlie Kirk, they were like, yeah, there was 33 witnesses or something like that. We got 33 what's it called, eyewitnesses or something like that, or dude submitted testimonies. And I was like, I mean, I'm not trying to be the guy, but like, how is it just keeps popping up everywhere all the time, no matter what you're doing? You could be in anything.
Right.
It's like
Dude,
that number shows up.
It's unreal the amount of tragedies have that number involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, the biggest one that was on the 33rd of October, that was crazy.
Oh, too funny. Oh, I don't know, man. Might be something to it. I don't know.
Well, I will say this, that just remember this, whether it's dealing with Freemasons, 33, number 33. Jonathan, you brought up you watched movie slash nonfiction, fiction, whatever. I don't know.
It's a movie.
Who knows what was put in there that's not even part of the real story, just to make it, movie more interesting. But the thing about it is if you study this out long enough and you're watching a show, you're watching a movie, you start seeing things.
Oh,
And once
yeah.
you see it, you can't unsee it. You're like, oh, I recognize what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I recognize what that is. It's something I learned many years ago, and again through Rob Skiba. I give him credit for this. Um, he said that there is absolutely nothing in a movie that is not purposefully put there.
Correct.
From the props, literally from whatever's in. He says when a director's looking at that scene, and like behind me, I've got my old video games and stuff, my childhood video games from Atari, and all all this up there. It's there's a purpose why it's there because I like the stuff I like.
Right.
So, but from a movie standpoint, he's like everything from that you see, even if it's stuff in the background. Like there's people who's went back and they've looked at the background of different movies, and all of a sudden you start seeing things, and a lot of times you're seeing what time it is on the clock.
Yep.
You're seeing a flat Earth model behind you. You're seeing just all kinds of stuff. So just remember that a lot of times they're literally putting it in front of you. And if your eyes start to open up and see these things, you'll see it all the time. No matter what you're watching, you're like, oh yeah, right there. Oh, over there. Yeah. So very, very interesting, how all that works and plays out. But yeah, you don't have to be a special member of the group to see what they're actually pushing out there for all of us to see.
Oh yeah. Well, especially I forgot what it was called. It was like an article from like the FBI, and they were showing like symbols that like they look out for, that they key in on, and it was like these circular shapes and triangle shapes and trying to keep us out of trouble, butterflies and stuff like that. And they were like very specific in how they were drawn and why they were drawn. And they were like, now like Joe said, start watching movies, start watching children's movies,
Yep.
start looking at
Start watching children's cartoons.
exactly.
Right.
Start looking at
oh my gosh.
advertising toys. Like there was like regular toys, and they're like, just look and then think and then follow the trail where there's generally little things that are fluffy with two ears, and you'll find some interesting things.
Fluffy
Yeah.
with 2 ears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the trail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, isn't that a lot of animals? But okay, I get you.
Yeah. Context.
Dude.
I mean, you'd be lucky if you keep your rabbit's foot on you. That's what I hear.
Well,
Wasn't very lucky
Kyle,
for
weren't
the
you the
rabbit.
one? Kyle, what'd you say, Kyle?
I said it wasn't very lucky for the rabbit.
I was gonna say I've heard you say it before. What you might be lucky, but the rabbit surely wasn't. See him hobble
there's
around
your-
on the other 3 legs. It's like,
Exactly. That's your equivalent exchange you were talking about earlier, right? The alchemy.
Mhm.
Yeah, take something from you so I can get something from me.
Oh, speaking of
Oh, man.
exchange,
Mhm.
The dollar bill. You got the pyramid on the back.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, does it have? I think I remember somebody saying that it had. Do you have one there with you?
I got one right here.
Bam.
How many?
Man,
how
he's
many?
rich.
How many levels are on that thing?
I'm
Is
not
it-
counting that right now. Here, I'm gonna put it close. You count it.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's 32 with the capstone being 33,
Dude,
or
I need my magnifying glass to see
or
this one.
33 with the plus the capstone. I can't remember.
It's like
But,
13 maybe, and then 14 on top. I don't know.
Really?
Well, you want to know a really interesting one? Look
Why
at
was
that
I
little
thinking-
symbol above the eagle. Look what shape that's in. All those
Mhm.
stars.
What
Oh,
does
yeah.
that look like? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Rim fan. Oh,
Look-
sorry.
Some phlegm and flam. Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
my bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Flim and flam. Yeah.
Had a little cough there. Oh, and then the New Age group too. There's 33 vertebrae in the spine.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
backbone of America.
Oh yeah. So I've heard somebody discuss there's this oil in the body that
Ugh.
basically every 28 days this oil supposedly dies or whatever, that's in the spine somehow or whatever, and then is reborn within like after 3 days or whatever.
That's-
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard of that before too. I
it's
just think
it's
you're
it's
going
really weird.
down the wrong road with that stuff because it's also they're using that in relation to the Messiah because
Mhm.
they're saying he was 33 when he passed away and then
Mhm.
resurrected, and
after 3 days.
you know how this process goes through your body, and I'm like, I'll just
Again,
stick
like I
with
said, it's like
Bible.
New Age
I'll just
stuff,
stick with
right?
Bible.
Right.
When in doubt.
Yeah,
So, talking about money.
everywhere.
Got $1 bills, $100 bills, and then we got lots of bills like a spending bill, right? So, what is up with our GOVT for short? What's up with our government right now? I know it's red versus
Vacation.
blue, right? I get it, red versus blue. But when can we just deal with the green? Let's just deal with the money. We need money to fund the government. Now,
Right.
I paid my taxes. Many of you guys paid your taxes. So that money was said, I'm going to give you money so then you can use it for the benefit of the people.
Mhm.
If there's no government, where's all my money that I paid? Is it what's it doing right now?
Oh, we're paying for other countries.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we're in day 1920, something like that, of a government shutdown. So our whole government, the thing that we voted on, and they're supposed to do their job with our
Mhm.
money, aren't
Mhm.
doing any of that.
Yeah.
How's that work?
Yep.
But let's be honest. Even when they're there, are they doing what they're supposed to be? Are they doing anything good? You know,
Right.
So, Jonathan, do
Just
you
saying.
know, is this the longest shutdown that we've ever had?
No, I think the longest one was 35 days, and that was in President Trump's first term. So
Really?
40
We had one that long? I
yeah.
don't remember that.
Well, because
Well, I don't remember, so it must have not have happened.
a lot of times what ends up happening with the government shutdowns, yeah, it was 35 days, but is they'll fund like the military. They'll like have a defense spending
Right.
appropriation or whatever. So they'll fund like sections of it, but they won't have the government funded. So then there's not like that big like, ooh, this hurts and stings. Well, right now they're like, yeah, whole agencies getting rid of them, furloughed, gone, just no more money, no more people. They're starting to send people home on administrative leave or furlough leave or whatever because they just don't have the money to pay them.
I heard that. I know this isn't government. Another conversation for another time. But I heard like 40% of the people that work for the IRS dipped out.
Well, so part of it, and so it's a, not that we're here to play politics, but it's like when you look and see what's going on, there's again red versus blue, and they're like, okay, fine, we won't sign it, so then you can't get your money, and then the blue says, or the red says, okay, well, fine, we'll cut your programs. You know what I mean? So it's literally like it's like you either shoot yourself in the foot or you shoot yourself in the foot. Which of these battles do you want to fight? And they're like, well, one keeps the people that you voted in. You know what I mean? So it's really crazy right now. And like today, we get an article that comes out and they're like, the people in charge of the mission of surety, which is our nuclear, they are like they're going home. They were like, so these people that are in charge of like the codes, they're in charge of like being prepared with the right accesses, making sure that everything's like tip top. There's like, yeah, well, I mean, we don't have a job, we're not getting paid, so that they just didn't come to work. So they're running on skeleton crew on some very vital programs.
Yeah.
But Congress is definitely up there in their nice big building and casting votes for yes and no, and still shut down.
So, Jonathan, do you know anything about is Trump trying to supplement any of this with the tariffs?
Yeah, so that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That's the big thing that's going on right now is they were talking about supplementing WIC, women, infant, and children. So the program that takes care of like, women and infants and children.
Kind of got that from what you just said.
So these people are, able to like let those programs run a little bit longer. And I forgot, it was one other agency that they were able to fund, and it was just strictly from tariffs. He was like, well, I don't need a budget appropriation. I don't need this isn't taxpayer dollars. This is earned income. So he's like, I made money.
Will this be considered surplus then?
It
like
would
a surplus type thing.
Yeah, I mean, technically, there's no surplus until you're out of $37 trillion in debt.
Well, you know what I mean, because it's outside of the outside of the budget.
Yeah, it has a different coding, so he can kind of maneuver a little differently with that.
What about the veterans? Are they being affected right now because of this, or
so far
like
no?
with medical and stuff like that? No.
Yeah, I was one that's near and dear to me. So I was checking in, and so far I haven't seen any direct impacts. I mean, like some of the programs, like the websites are down. They're like, due to government shutdown, we're not going to run the website. I'm like, that's the only free thing on here, right? Well, we could do everything, but you can't go to the website. You're like, thank you.
Yeah.
But supposedly anything that was like mandatory or like appointments or medical or whatever, so far all that's been still good.
Good.
Now I don't want to speak for everybody. Maybe your situation is different, but from what I found so far, I mean, there's not a lot of days left where you do have a little bit of money that's able to be spent. Eventually that runs out too, and so you got to do something eventually.
Yeah.
Or then things get real funky.
So have you heard that they may come to some agreement anytime soon, or is it just still up in the air?
So again, not that I'm on playing political bias, which I have my own bias, but when you look at the way that they submitted the CR, continuing resolution, right, which they're just saying, hey, this is what we voted on prior, just sign this thing. We're not adding anything, I'm subtracting anything. It's just exactly what we've already approved. The one side is saying, no, we want to add a bunch of stuff to it. And then the party that's in charge right now said, why would we do that? That's wildly irresponsible. Like, let's vote on what's already been approved. Let's run this until we get to the time where we can pass a full budget for the year. So this was only supposed to last us until like November. So we're going to be in November before they pass this thing, and they're going to do another one all over. We're going to be in the same boat in a couple weeks. So it's like, it's just kick the can down the road till you get a full year's budget. But then you end up doing like a 21-day extension and a 10-day extension. Then you pass for the year. Well, we're already like in the middle of the first extension. We're going to have to do extension 2 before extension 1.
Now, I'm sure that a lot of Americans are kind of with me in the same boat where I didn't even know prior to the first government shutdown in Trump's first term in office. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that the government could shut down, right? I didn't know that was a thing. Now, I might have learned it in school a long time ago, way back when, but in and out, right? Like I didn't
look, their paychecks never get shut down.
So I know, right? Has this happened with previous presidents, or is Trump a first?
No, it's happened tons of
No,
times.
it's happened all the time.
Yeah.
Really? Because
but not, but a lot
I'd
of,
never heard of it, or I didn't
well, a
remember.
lot of times the reason why, well, one, it's because of the political climate we're in right now is making it a lot more, I mean, and because of our president. But in the past, I remember, I can't, I think during Bush's administration, I remember there was probably a couple that,
Really?
but they lasted like a few days, and then they
Yeah.
came back within that week, and they had everything. You know, they put extensions, like Jonathan was saying, so nothing really missed a beat. This one, I think, is because this is the first time in a while, I guess, or at least since the first time Trump was in office, that we've had one that they were like, yeah, we're just locking it down. And it
Yeah.
looks like there's no resolution to it. That's the
Exactly.
problem. It's not like
It's
they're
like
even going, okay, but the other side, again, not to get political, like Jonathan said, they're wanting to all this other money allocated to something. They're going to something that's not important.
1.5 trillion
Trillion added
added
of our
additional.
taxpayer money
Right.
before, and so when you look at it, you're like, this is definitely not for the people. This is not in favor of the citizens of the United States of America. This is in favor of whatever your political position is and your agenda and all those things. And it's like,
Right.
it's very obvious that that's being put up front as the number one, and
Right.
everybody else can just, yeah,
Deal with the ramifications. Yeah, it's
just deal with it. Yeah.
fiscally irresponsible. And I think what makes it hard is we're in a time in history. I mean, I can't go back to the 1800s or whatever, but we're in a time in history where we're the most politically divided as a country we've ever been. Where there's always been a left versus right, a red versus blue, independent, fill in the blank of whatever side you landed on.
Right.
But it was generally like we're close. You know what I mean? We're within like a margin of error of like, okay, you vote for this, and we're kind of the same, but we tend to lean this way a little bit more. We prefer this style of government, or we want this agenda to go forward. Where now it's just like polar opposites. You are either left or you are right, and you do not touch, you do not meet in the middle, you do not high five. There is no nothing. When one president gets in, all the left claps, and then the next president gets in, and all the right claps, and everybody sits there and goes, I hate all
Pouty
this.
faces.
Even though they're funding veterans and taking care of people, he's not my friend because he's on the other side of the aisle.
Right.
And so when you get to that
It's
place where you're
ridiculous.
like only motivated by party alliance and not like for the American people, because you're a representative. You're representing all
Right.
the humans that are in your area where you
Mhm.
are responsible. Well, right now we're voting for the agenda that we were told that we all have to agree on because it's red versus blue.
Right.
And so then who loses out? The everyday person,
Yep.
right? The regular
Yep.
person who did their job. They went to the ballot and voted. They did their research. They did all the stuff they were supposed to do. And now we're sitting there with sitting on your hands, and you can't do anything. You don't have any. You have no say so. You can email your congressman all you want. They're gonna be like, okay, we're only voting red, so it doesn't matter what goes down. And I think that's why we've had these two government shutdowns as of late. Because there's been like I think 12 or 14 total. And Joe, you're right. There was Trump twice, Obama, Clinton, Bush, Reagan, and Carter are all the recent ones. So I mean, it's not
That's
been,
crazy.
but they've been like 1 day, 4 days, couple hours, 3 days, stuff
I
that was
just
like,
don't remember ever hearing about it though.
yeah, well, because it wasn't
The news
that deep.
probably didn't make a big deal out of it.
It
Right.
Like they
didn't.
do Trump.
Yeah.
And the divide, the way it is today, there's a purpose for it.
Yeah.
They want you to be divided. They want you to be angry. They want you to go out in the streets and riot, right? And you're like,
Mhm.
and then like now one side's saying, if you riot, we're gonna arrest you. The other side's like, riot more. And you're like, that sounds like danger. You know what I mean? Like you're like, here, let's throw a grenade in the middle and see what happens. Like this is a bad idea.
Yeah, it's like they're pushing a civil war on us, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
and none of us want that.
And they're using your money against you. I'm like, "Wait, I already paid you. I'm paying you. Like, I'm gonna get paid this week, and you're gonna take taxes out of that.
If you know the answer to this right off the bat, don't
All the above.
don't say it. But if you don't know the answer and you're going to guess, I'd love to hear your guess. I don't think most people have any idea. They can't fathom what a trillion of something is. So let's put this into perspective for just a second.
Okay.
If you could earn $1 every second, how long would it take you to have $1 trillion? Wild guess, Jonathan. If you don't already know
Oh no,
the answer.
I have no idea. I'm gonna guess 1,000 years.
327 years.
327 years, 1,000 years. How about 31,709 years
Yeah, I was
plus?
the closer one. I went to Price is Right.
You did go over.
31,709.792 calendar years.
Years. Now, you said $1 a
Years.
day or $1 an hour?
$1
No,
an
no, no,
hour.
no. If I said it incorrectly, I apologize. $1 a second.
A
If you
second.
A
if you
second. Okay, yeah.
a second.
Sheesh.
If you got $1 every second, how long would it take you to have $1 trillion?
I don't know. That's a good salary.
Forget
though.
about the trillion. I'll still take the dollar
Yeah,
per
it's
second,
like-
though.
31,000 plus
Hey,
years.
me.
Wow.
Yeah. You
That's
done missed the
insane.
return of the Messiah and everything by then. You're just like, you're
Still
late
waiting
to
on
the
that
party.
dollar, though.
Hey, I'm gonna show you a little funny picture. When you were talking about the red and blue, will you pull that picture up, Kyle? This is
I
what's
guess
going
I'll
on
never
right
know.
now. Yep. This is what's going on right now with them.
That's absolutely
Knock your opponent's block off.
Nice.
I really thought you
All
were going
right.
to show me
How
a
many-
Halo image or something.
I know. I was
No,
thinking
how-
that too. The red versus blue.
No, I had to go old school. Come on, man. I'm the old guy in the group.
Yeah, knock your block. And they call it the
I do
voting block,
enjoy
right?
Halo. So I'm not too old where I think I still have all the Halo games, but the old Rock'em Sock'em, that's, it's just like, yeah. Now, did you guys have that at all?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, let me
Look at-
rephrase that. No, I didn't, but my friends did, and I loved playing it with them.
Yeah.
I knew
Of
of
course,
it.
Jonathan didn't.
Yeah, my answer is no to most things. We'll just get past that.
That's so funny, man. Speaking of the nostalgia, though, so let's go into some lighter news real quick.
Okay.
So for all those who know, I love my old Atari and the nostalgia of Atari and all that stuff. Well, back in the day, there was a gaming system. Let you guys be honest. Have you ever heard of Intellivision?
I've heard of it, but probably.
Have you ever seen one in person?
No.
Unless you got
Not
one at
that.
your house now.
Jonathan, I could just automatically assume we just need you just do this the whole time. Okay? It's like,
Just have the red X like from like American Idol or whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, so Intellivision came out in 1980. Let's see, I think I have the date on here. I think it came out in 19. Oh, I just had it. Where is it? I think it came out in 1981 or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. What year did Atari come out?
Anyway, no, it came out
1979.
1980. So it's 1980.
Okay.
So it came out in 1980. My cousin had one. And so that's the only reason it's the only person I've ever known that had one. And we were kids and we would go over there and play it. I actually have let me share this with you real quick. Let's stop that one. I'll show you a vintage one real quick of what the okay, that one right there.
I would assume it didn't do very well in the stores because, like I said, I don't think I've ever. I think I've heard of it
All right.
once, and that's
Here
about
you
it.
go. This is the original Intellivision right here. So you had
Oh,
just a
wow.
paddle. That was it, the thumb paddle. And
Wait a
but
minute,
actually,
I have seen one of these.
I've seen the games.
I have seen one of these.
yeah.
That was like
So
one of those
this
90s
was the
alarm
big
clock.
rival. This was the big rival to Atari in 1980. And so the graphics were actually a little bit better. Gameplay was a little bit better. Now the controller, the thumb pad thing was okay, but I still like the joystick for the Atari better.
Right.
But anyway, this was the original one from 1980, and my cousin had one, and we'd go over to her house and we would play Intellivision and all that stuff. So they were big rivals back in the early 80s, and then let's see, I believe it's in here, as of 2024, Atari acquired Intellivision.
Oh.
So now they've
2024.
2024, they acquired the rights to it. And this year, December 5th of 2025, it will be called Intellivision Sprint. And I got a little picture of that. Now, it was cool that I had two pictures that are very similar because this one's going to be the one I'm getting ready to show you is the new one.
Wait, that doesn't make it. Why? Why would it? That's like Chevrolet deciding they want to buy Yugo. Like that company's been out of business for a bajillion years. Why would you
Oh,
want to
no.
do that?
This is
Because
because
it only
of the
costs
nostalgia.
$5.
Hold on, let me get
They're like, hey,
here
we got
we
a
go.
5 spot. They're like, all right, we'll sell it to you.
So here's what the new one will look like. which is almost the same exact picture of the one from the 1980s.
Yes, it's
that's
got to have that
hilarious.
brown on it.
So,
My,
but
my.
the cool thing is it will be wireless, so you won't have to deal with the wires. It
Graphics
comes
are still
with
the same. No, I'm just kidding.
yes, but it will have 45 pre-installed games in it. Let's see what else is about this one. It has HDMI, all that good stuff. So it's more modern as far as the hookup to the TVs. It will sell for an impressive price of $149.99.
No, I'm good.
So yeah, all right, here's the deal. I think that's a high price point for this. It's only got 45 games. It's cool, it's nostalgic. Here's the one thing they should have did is they should have made this so that if like people like me that have their old games, you should have enabled it to put your old cartridges into it.
And that wouldn't have been that
And so
hard.
this
That
so
would be
no, it wouldn't have been hard at all. So this limits you, and maybe they will later. Maybe Atari will say, hey, they'll probably get a lot of feedback. Hey, by the way, if you could make this so that it will work as a console as well, because there's still, literally thousands and tens of thousands of Intellivision games on the market. You can go to eBay and buy them all day long. As a collector, I've got the mini Ataris from the new Atari company. I've got the mini Atari, which is like a third the size of the original Atari,
Mhm.
but it will play 2,600 games and 1,700 games on the same console. That sold me. I was like, because I've already got the games back here.
Right.
I was like, yeah, let me play my old nostalgia games and plug in the cartridges and all that stuff and play it now off on a HDMI, full HD TV and all that stuff. It's really neat. When you're playing your old classic games on a big TV, it's like, oh, this is pretty cool.
That's some big pixels.
Well, dude, that's
So
I don't know that price is a little insane. Now I know the graphics aren't the best, but I mean, I remember, sometime between 5 and 10 years ago, you could go to the Dollar General and buy a gaming console that basically you could get every Sega game that was ever
Oh,
ever
yeah.
out on this one little console, right? Or
yeah,
every Atari game or every whatever, on one console
right.
for like 20 or 30 bucks or something, So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't get
Yeah.
that price point. It's a little
I
much.
think the
It's
price point
nostalgic,
should be
and it's still got the wood on it. It's still got that brown,
that
90s
that
alarm
ain't real
clock.
wood, I promise you.
Oh, no, not at all.
But now it did say in the article that I have, it did say that if you can hook an HDMI not I'm sorry, not an HDMI, a USB flash drive to it. So it's kind of hinting that
Upgrade?
you can port games onto it through that means, but still I'm like, I'd rather, and then that's cool. But I'd rather you've just, I don't think for the $150 that you're wanting to sell this for only 45 games, if you'd put that cartridge slot in there, that would have been 2 thumbs up on
But
that one.
Joe,
But
you see,
Yeah.
see what you're thinking is you're thinking from a consumer. You got to think from the business as a marketer. I can
Hmm.
get you interested in the product, then I can sell you the upgrade, the attachments. I can
Right.
sell you stuff. We
That's
can make residuals on this. Talking about back to
yeah,
back, staying in the
yeah,
market.
I don't know in this market if that's what you want to be playing around with right now because I think a lot of people would say hard pass.
No, dude, this is
You
the
know,
perfect market for that right now. Everything's microtransactions and apps and $5 for
Hmm.
this, $10 for that. People just like as long as it's like under $10, people will buy the beans out of it. You say $80,
yeah,
like, no, I'm good. Hey, $10 for an upgrade. Sure, $10 for a visual upgrade. Cool. A new costume for your character in a shooting game that's free already. $10. They're like, I'd love to spend 10. Roblox. These kids, they're spending
yeah,
money on these Roblox and Fortnites. Like, you probably spent $800 on this game in the lifetime of it. You could have had
Right.
2 PS5s, a brand new flat screen TV, your first month's rent.
Right. Right.
Well, unfortunately for the parents that their kids got a hold of their credit or debit card,
Nope, not a thing. I put that on
yeah,
restriction immediately.
yeah, I've
Denied.
read and seen the horror stories of
Yeah.
that where it was like literally thousands
Yeah.
hmm
of dollars,
For,
So
thousands.
for skins.
yeah, exactly.
So it don't even help them play any better. It just changes the look of their
You
character.
look cool, yeah,
But I'm pretty.
Mom,
No,
I need these boots, for my guy.
so our version of that growing up, and you guys are probably in the same ish generation. It was them cell phone bills when they first started, before they got like the free texting or like the free minutes or whatever. When
Hmm.
oh
that
yeah,
first
Don't
time you got
text
that
me.
bill, yeah, nights and weekends after 7, don't even consider talking to me in the day. You better call the home
Right.
phone with the wire. That I need to be able to pull
well,
that thing 100 feet across the house.
You better be in the hospital.
Remember friends and
7
family.
o'clock.
Remember friends and family, but you were limited to how many people you could add. So then you had to
Oh,
really
yeah.
think hard about it. And you
This is
better
my
not
top
let the other.
5.
You better not let the other friends know or family that you didn't put them on your plan. We could talk. Didn't you put me on your friends and family?
I'm not in your fave 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, I'm busy till 7. That's what it is every
Yeah,
day.
everybody was busy till 7.
Wow.
That's
So I
fantastic.
know you remember those horror stories. You're talking about the skins. Back then it was, they give their kid their new Motorola Razor or whatever, and that first bill comes in, it's like $900. Like, what did you do? I was just sending text message. What did you send that was that important? And it was like, because they would send you to send it, they would charge you to send it and charge you to receive one. So
Right.
I mean, could you imagine how fast we text today? We're like, emoji face, 10 cents, emoji face, 10 cents. You would never do that today. But back then it was like you had to be calculated and really think about it. This message better be really important.
Yeah.
Not only that, but go ahead and make a long distance call on your cell phone back then.
Out of state, you're like, no.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine who was anyway, he was smitten with somebody over in Japan. $800 later.
Good.
You got to get the phone
gracious.
card. You got to get the
Yeah.
phone card with like the 37 numbers.
Dude,
Yeah.
I remember back in the 80s, my parents, they broke down and they got my grandparents used to travel around a lot. They were retired, they would travel around in their RV. When my dad was, worried about them being on the road or whatever, my dad bought them a bag phone and then bought one for us to have. Now, I think these were the bag phones were legitimate versions of like satellite phones. And emergency only is what those phones were for, because it was like dollars a minute. It was nuts. I don't remember what it was, but it was, and they were, just to buy the phone in the first place was, I want to say it was over $1,000, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
It was nuts. But yeah, you had a bag, that you handle, a little, handle that you carry. You had
My
to
wife
open it up, fold the
My
antenna
wife Vicky
out,
had one.
screw it in.
When me and my wife Vicky met, she had a bag phone.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, you must be balling, man. You must be rich.
Right. Oh, that's crazy, man.
That was just about as good as the car phone, and you're like, like nowadays, you have all the buttons and screens. There was like a phone you could like pull out of the car. You're like, what's up?
Dude, why do they do? Why do they do that with the phones now? Like the iPhone, like that is the craziest thing in the world. They already have technology for iPhone 74 available right now, right? But they're going to make you upgrade every year to a new one.
Yeah. Well, what did you talk about earlier, Jonathan? About what? Huh?
Remind me.
Remind you, you're talking about like marketing.
Oh yeah.
You know, the
It's
whole
all
thing
planned.
with the Intellivision. It's all marketing, man. It's all yeah.
Well, they just wait
Get
until they
this.
come out with iPhone 33.
I was about to say, I bet they're all 33-degree Masons.
The new iPhone
or the Galaxy 33. Yeah.
Right.
I might skip that year. I don't know.
Yeah, too bad that Galaxy's
Hey,
far
check
away.
this out. So the first car phone was made its debut in June of 1946.
No, 46.
When a wireless phone call was placed from the seat of a Chrysler in Chicago, the system was developed by Illinois' Bell Telephone using equipment from Galvin Manufacturing Corporation, which later became Motorola.
Really?
It says the name Autophone. It says the technology used. It says it used vacuum tubes and weighed about 80 pounds. It filled the car's trunk. Its range was about 25 miles per call, with only a few users able to connect at once. It cost $25 to install it back then in 1946.
That was like a year.
It was a $15 monthly service. And up to
You had to
40
be
cents.
rich.
That's a lot
Yeah.
today.
Oh yeah.
$15.
Oh yeah. 1946. It's like, oh, no big deal. $15 a month is like, $120 today. So it says, not only was it a $15 monthly service and up to 40 cents per 3-minute call.
Wow.
It says that's over $5 in today's money. It
Yeah, I was
says
gonna say
by the I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would say the $15, the subscription would be $249 today. So
Woo!
Yeah, no big deal.
$250.
It's no
Just
big
this
deal,
is a
yeah.
subscription.
Yeah, so it says by the 1970s and 80s, car phones became more common, especially among business elites and government officials. But it wasn't until the 1984 release of the Motorola DynaTAC 8000X that mobile phones began to evolve into the sleeker handheld devices we know today.
Okay, I thought you were
So,
going somewhere else with that when you said sleeker. First thing that popped in my head was like Zach Morris with his
yeah.
the brick with the antenna, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, what's
Oh,
crazy is
yeah.
I love to see like the old like naming conventions. It was like to make something cool, you just added a ton of numbers to the end.
Yeah.
Oh, the new Motorola Chico something 940,000 X
Well, think
special.
about it. So if someone came, you kind of like, hey, Kyle, what phone is that? You're like, oh, brother, you don't know? This is the Motorola DynaTAC 8000X. You got to say a sentence like this long just to, you know, you got
Well,
the
so
8000X? No way. I'm still working off the 6500. Oh,
Dude, that's so 80s marketing right there. Just
Mhm.
tack on a big number to something and it makes it sound more sophisticated and
oh
scientific.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, it means it's got to work better, right?
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely.
More numbers, more
Absolutely.
better.
For sure.
What was
Oh
the
boy.
what's the phone? So I don't understand. Somebody, if you guys know the answer, please help me out. What does a vacuum tube have to do with anything? I don't get what that even means. Like I'm brain dead. The phone is run off of vacuum tubes?
Yeah, so that has to deal, and I'm not an expert in this. Okay.
Okay.
Let me say this up front. But when you're dealing with
Play well.
old transistors, like you would have in a television,
Transistor
like
radio.
like
Okay.
you've probably seen it, but I have my grandparents' first television, the Zenith
Yeah, the big
television. I
bag.
have it here at my house. So it
Got
has tubes on the inside.
Mhm.
In those tubes, some of that I think has to work with, and I'm sure somebody who's watching this could give a better answer, but it's working with the transistors that are inside of the television also because you have to receive the broadcast through the air. And so these tubes are probably something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So very similar to the vacuum of space. Everything's fine.